seated tall. Feel the sits bones kind of smushing down on that floor, which is what we want. And we're going to try to sit real tall, because with your legs open, it gives your hip flexors space to sit real tall. If you find that you're curling your back here, then move your legs farther away so you can lean up, okay? Because you want your back to be straighter. So let's just sit here a minute, take a deep breath, inhale through the nose, and exhale through the nose and the back of your throat, kind of like a grumble. Do you have a stuffy nose because of this allergy season? Go ahead and use that mouth. One more breath. Okay, so we're going to work on the lower lumbar first. So you're seated on your sits bones. We're going to take that lower lumbar from the lowest part of the tailbone to where the lumbar ends, the beginning of your thoracic, which is a very small part. So we're going to just drop our back, this lower portion of our back, and then we're going to lift up. So instead of going into a rounded back, we're just going to try to round out this portion. Real hard to separate, isn't it? So what I like to remind people to do is imagine that I'm taking my fist and I'm pushing right there in your transverse abdominal muscles, right above your pubic bone. Push that back and you can feel this begin to flex. Good way to become familiar with the whole spine. We want to throw our middle back into this, but I would prefer if you could just separate lower lumbar. Okay, while we're here, let's just do a little bit of a twist just to warm up. I'm sure all of you are warm enough with this weather. We were able to take a nice walk this morning in the cemetery. Doylestown Cemetery is beautiful. Keep going, just getting those hips and obliques opened up. Okay, so now let's put the lower lumbar and connect it to the upper back. So you're going to curve the spine, but when you curve, that doesn't mean you collapse the rib. So here's the rib, here's the hips. You're curving. Imagine you have that kind of like that ball here, and you're curving the spine, but you're dropping back and then lifting up. So back. I like to inhale as I move forward, as my ribs open up, my chest wall opens up. But everybody find the place that you're comfortable. Good, good, good. All right. So now we're going to move ourselves to a seated or to a flat position. If you need something behind your head to support your head and neck, go for it. Sometimes during this tumultuous season, with a flat head, it kind of makes us a little dizzy because our sinuses. So if you need to lift your head, lift it. Okay. So let's work from here. Right away, it feels good, but it feels a little out of whack. So I want your fingers and arms up towards the ceiling. And that means straight up, not overhead, just straight up. Now plug your shoulders into your upper part of your arm, your glenoid cavity. Shove it into that shoulder girdle, okay? So they're not rounded, it's flat. You can actually feel your scapula to the floor. Now let's rock the pelvis forward and back. That's good. Just keep rocking and rocking. Arms are staying up there. Feel that pelvis, anterior and posterior. Now let's flatten that lower back completely, okay? So your abdominals are pulled down and in. Take your arms and wrap them around you and hold this. Breathe deep. As you exhale, feel your middle back really start to open up. Inhale, exhale. Good job. All right, take the arms back. Now you have your lower back still tight to the floor. What I want you to do is go up the spine. Let's start with the lower back. It's flat. Let's go to where the waistline sits, okay? And flatten that. Let's go up to the middle thoracic and the lats. Flatten that. And then all the way up behind the shoulder. Arms are down. So your fingers are flat, palms are down, or preferably down, because as we work, we want to ground ourselves better. So the first thing I want you to do is just draw your right leg up and point the foot or the toe to the ceiling, the leg to the ceiling. So I'm pointing my toe and I'm keeping my knee as straight as possible. Because my left leg is bent, it gives me the opportunity to move my leg up higher, okay, working my hips more. Your job is to keep that knee straight. It's easier with this left leg straight or this left leg bent. So let's take it down to the floor, flex the foot and lift. Point the toe, flex the foot. Now notice that you have, with the leg moving, the spine starts to roll a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. It's just moving out of alignment because your leg is moving. But always bring your back flat. Leg up and the right foot down. So the left leg to the ceiling. Make sure this left leg is straight. This toe is pointed. Same thing. It's coming up as high as it can. Down, flex the foot, lift. One more. Pick it up and hold. Okay. Feet are flat. Keep your knees together and bring your feet together. So you're not in a tight bent knee. See, my feet are real close to my tush. You're not going to be that way. You're going to move your feet away a little bit to a natural place where your back is still flat. You're going to inhale the knees to the right. Exhale, center. Inhale to the left. Exhale, center. Keep moving in that direction. Inhale, exhale, keep moving. Good. Okay. So now that you've created some movement here in your obliques and through your lower part of your hip flexors, some of the upper and middle abdominals, you've created some heat here, which is real important. Let's go to our tabletop leg. Okay. Tailbone. You feel the tail to the mat. Okay. You're not here where the tailbone is really flat, but you're here and you want it to get flat. That's one of the ways keeping that spine nice and healthy. So tap the left, tap the right, tap the left. So as you see, I have my head on the ball. And when I have my head on the ball, I try to keep my chin towards my chest. I'm not looking up. And that's just to lengthen the back of your neck. All right, both legs, keep them up there. So you're still in your tabletop. If you want to release, let's pull the knees in a little bit. Oh, feel that back open up. Feels good. Inhale, exhale. Okay, back to tabletop. So now you're going to take those toes, you're going to tap them to the mat together and lift up in tabletop. So instead of single legs, we're going to do double. Tap and lift. One more. Stay in tabletop now. Again, put your hands behind the legs. You're on your hamstrings and open your legs up. It's a very feminine move. We're going to keep our legs wide open. So what you're doing here is as you pull your legs and quads up into your rib cage and into the belly space, you can feel the lower back spread and get real flat. Okay, this is the precursor to your happy baby. And if you want to be happy today, you want to be a happy baby, go for it. You can put your hands on your feet. You can put your hands around the ankle space. The whole goal here is as you bring the knee down, the quadriceps down into the body, you can feel an opening of the back. It feels really good. Why do you think babies are happy when they're like this, right? Because it feels good. Okay. So let's release this. All right, we're going to go into a single leg circle. So left leg is long and lean, okay? So make sure that that leg is firm to the floor. As you bring your right leg in, you're going to raise it to the ceiling. So knee is always straight and strong at the joints. If I'm here, I'm not going to get the full effect around the joint that Pilates can give me. I want to keep my joints straight. Toes pointed. Now I'm going to bring my leg down and across. And as you see, I'm not lifting like this. I got to keep my back firm. I got to keep my abdominals firm. I'm crossing the body down, sweeping right above the floor. Now, when I bring my leg outside, it has to be the even to the way I brought my leg across the body. So you don't want to be way outside there and pull your left side of your body off the mat. So my palms are down. My shoulders are down to ground me and also to brace the movement because that initiates my abdominals to work harder. The breath. Inhale. One more. Great. So you're up here. So let's flex the foot this time and reverse the movement. So we're going to circle around. Do it nice and slow. When I say slow, I mean controlled. It changes how it feels in your body. Direction changes us. That's why it's so cool in Pilates to see that. One more. I'm bringing it down, and then I'm going to pull the knee in. You can place your hands on the lower part of the front of your leg if you want, drawing your knee in if it's comfortable. So while we're there, let's take advantage of this movement. We're going to take the right arm down. Shoulder girdle is tight to the floor, always to the mat. It grounds us. My left hand is still in front of the tibia and the fibula. I'm going to draw this leg across. My right shoulder wants to stay down. It should, but my back's going to lift, and that's okay. So you can stay with this. You can move the right arm outside if you'd like. If you are looking for some neck work, you can look side to side. You can do a stretch by turning your head. Inhale, exhale, bring it back to the center. Very good. Shake it out, shake it out. So let's work that left leg. Toe is up, knee is straight. So for me, my left side is much tighter. I can feel, as I bring my leg up, I can feel that my back wants to lift, okay? So I got to think about this. I want to keep the joint straight, but I don't want to lift my back and go out of alignment. So you go to where you're comfortable. So toe is pointed, take it across the body, outside. So it's really not a circle. We always talk about that. It's truly an oval, more of an oval. But Joseph Pilates makes the big bucks, not me. He calls it circle. Of course, he's not around to know, but we'll change it someday. Flex the foot. Let's reverse it. So if we get to a place as we're circling and we feel our body, our hip, there could be a pop going on in the hip. There could be a pop going on in the outside of the hip. There could be something in the leg. You want to listen to that. You don't want to take it to that extent. You want to shorten the movement so you don't feel or hear that. Take it down and draw it in. Hands on the lower part of your leg. So we're nowhere near the patella. Stay away from that sucker. We want our knees to always be our best friends. Right hand stays on the lower part of your front of your leg. Your left arm goes down, shoulder is tight. You're going to bring this across. Keep that left shoulder down. Move the leg across the body. So your lats and your traps here start to give the message of, oh no, don't go too far. This doesn't feel right. But then as you stay here, feel it relaxing in your upper back. I know it's more for the piriformis, but it's nice to feel the back get involved. Release it. Good. Let's shake this out again. All right. We did our single leg circle. So we're going to do a couple more things here as we're on this place. So we're going to come in tabletop, both legs. So when we do a double leg stretch, the double leg is obviously both legs, right? But we need an arm movement to this. So let's put our feet down first. We'll go over the arm situation. So when I do an extension for my double leg, I take both arms overhead and then I bring them back. So I'm not taking it sliding out here. But if you have a shoulder issue and you find that lifting the arm like this is impeding it, the movement, then take it outside. Or don't go up at all, okay? So you can add arms or not. But when we do the double leg, we have to remember that when we extend that leg, you're not extending it over the mat low, okay? It's not necessary because we can be out of alignment then. We could create that curve to our spine. You don't want that. You want to pull down and feel your whole spine flat. So what I want you to do is use the guide of extending the leg, pointing up towards where your ceiling and your wall meet. Okay, so that's the guide of where your legs will go. Okay, so here we are in tabletop. Spine is nice and tight. My arms are beside me. Inhale, exhale, pull in. So you have an option here. And that option is you can lift your head off the ball. You can come into looking like that boat pose. It's up to you. So stay right here and let's go into single leg. So we're in our tabletop. Let's extend right, pull it back. Left, pull it back. Good job. So knees come in. Good, good, good. Feet are flat. Okie doke. Now let's get us off our backs. So we have two options. You can roll forward, okay, in a roll up, or you go from right to left, right side or left side and sit up, okay? I'm going to roll it up. If you have osteoporosis, there's no rolling on the spine. Not a healthy place to be. Okay. All righty. Oh, it's hot, isn't it? Am I doing all the work and you guys aren't? I know you are. Okay. So we're seated nice and tall. Sits bones, whoo, pull them out. We love this bony tissue flat. It grounds us. It's really a place, a really safe place to be for us. So with your legs extended, if you have a ball, I like to use my ball. If you don't have a ball, you could use a blanket or you could use a rolled up towel. If you don't have that, you can just use your imagination, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ball into my belly space. So from the rib down to the pubic bone, it's going to sit right there. It now becomes a part of the furniture here. So you're going to lift your back nice and straight. Nod and bow. So if you notice when I nod and bow, I don't lift my shoulders. I keep my shoulders down. There's an extension in my neck. Now I'm going to lean into this. And as I lean into it, there's a resistance with my belly being pushed back, but my upper back being lengthened. Come up. So that's the spine stretch. Let's try it again. So nodding and bowing is just that. A nod here, a bow here, not a crunch my chin into my chest, okay? You want length in the cervical. But you don't want your head to be the leader, okay? You want your body to be in unison, so the movement completely together. And release, good. Okay, legs together. Same thing, balls in. So right away, it's going to shorten your movement because your hip flexors and your back are going to be tighter. So if you're here, we're going to come up out of that. Bend your knees if you find that that's tough to get to, okay? Better to bend your knees so you can go through the movement. When you come forward, a lot of times the knees go straight down. Yeah. And again. Down. Keep that nine bound going. Okay, so you're nice and tall. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the ball behind us. Okay, so we, in the very beginning of our class, worked on that lower lumbar space, trying to open it up. And then we went into the middle back and the upper back. Okay, so we're going to do that on our ball right now. So your body's more warmed up, so you have a better idea of where you need to place yourself. So the ball's here. I'm on a mat, which is a little sticky because the mats are made to be sticky to protect us, especially doing certain movements that you're doing, like especially in yoga. So the ball for me stays real tight behind me. If it's sliding away from you, next time just put it on a mat, you'll be fine. So I'm lifted up as high as I can get. My abdominals and my back are bringing me forward. My arms are out. So I'm going to take just my lower lumbar and I'm going to drop it onto that ball. I haven't moved my shoulders. They're not coming up to my ears. My back isn't curved. And I'm going to lift. So just drop my lower lumbar and I'm going to lift. So you can really feel how your you really get in touch with your rectus abdominis this way, because you have to create that pelvic tilt and you can feel how your pelvis shifts. It's a good thing. Keeping the pelvis strong is a very important part of that's a great, I think one of the best benefits of Pilates. Lift up, okay. So now we're gonna keep those legs tight together and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna roll back down. My shoulders are down. Then we're gonna take the spine and roll it over that ball. Inhale, come up, and bring it forward all the way through. Come up, sit tall, roll it back, long spine. Now, if you notice, I am not letting my head fly back. I'm in control. That means I'm tucking my chin in enough that my head doesn't fly back. Protect your head and neck. Come up, reach. And again, take back. Hold it long. Reach. And you should feel the length through the back of your legs at this point also. Down, take it down. And bring it back up. So here I am doing that spine stretch forward. Can you feel that? You can feel the opening of the lower back. Okay, lift and sit tall. All right, legs are opened now. So we're going to try this again, but we're going to keep keeping the ball behind us. But our legs are as wide as our mat. Okay, so there's going to be more, you're going to have more movement space. That sounds kind of weird, but it's the truth. So let's lift real tall, shoulders back and down. I always think to myself, Wow, some of the words I come up with, I'm going to write a book someday with all the blooper words. I know it. So shoulders back and down, arms out. We're going to take the lower lumbar, let it drop, let it drop, let it drop. Let the upper spine come down now. Open your elbow. Close your arm and lift all the way up and go right into your spine stretch. Reaching, reaching, reaching. You get a better reach. Now, when I'm reaching, I'm not dropping, okay? I'm literally reaching with my head lifted. When I say lifted, you're not down here. Come back up. Same thing. Lower back, lower back. Oh, feels great. Middle back. Now take your elbows out. Bring them together. Lift, lift, lift. Come up, come up, come up. Reach, reach, reach. Here we go. We're reaching it again. We're reaching. Come up. Always back to the beginning so you can stabilize and ground yourself. Again, go back. I wish I could see you, but I can't. Elbows out. Bring it back. Come up, come up, come up, come up. Sit tall. Go into your spine stretch. So let's try one more. Yeah. Elbows out. Together. Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. And reach it. Good. Okay, shake it out. So one of the other great benefits, a lot of people are crazy and don't want to talk about it, but from an abdominal perspective, whenever you're doing your Pilates, you're contracting the muscles in the abs, which is massaging the belly space, which is helping the intestinal tract, which is creating a lot of movement, which is really very helpful. Okay, so legs are wide again. We're going to go into a saw. The shoulders are back and down. So once again, if you find this is uncomfortable and you need to be here, go for it. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so shoulders are back and down. My arms are down, but then I'm going to bring them up just a tad. I'm not going to be here, just somewhere in between. So when I saw, I rotate first. I'm going towards my left side. Notice my left arm is behind me. My right arm is out. Now it's directly where the left foot is, but I'm going to move the finger to the outside of that foot. I'm going to reach to the outside of that foot, and I'm going to saw 2, 3, come up and twist. So while my arm is behind me, my hand is here. As I reach, I'm not coming down here. I'm reaching and I'm sawing 2, 3, lift up. You got to be using your abs to do this. Saw 2, 3. There's resistance coming. Lower back. You got to kick it in. Doing any kind of rotation is just so healthy for us. We unfortunately live in a world where we don't do enough rotation. Flexion, extension, and rotation are so important. You start to feel it up the back of the legs. Let's do 2 more, one on each side. Up to the other side and reach 2, 3. Come up, release the arms down. All righty, let's take a little break here with our feet together. Good, good, good. So your feet could be tight into you, or it could be farther away from you. It could even be farther away from you. It's up to you. I'm going to bring mine in real tight. So the tighter it is in, you can feel its inner thigh there, right? Hands are on my ankles. I'm going to do a flexion forward, and as I do, my elbows are going to press to the inside of my leg, and that's where I release it. And the same thing. There's no right or wrong to this movement. The flexion forward can come from any place. Let's move our feet forward. So notice that you move over, or you move more forward on sits bones, closer to the pubic bone, closer to the center of your body. Hands again. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to hinge forward. Your elbows go to the inside of the legs. Now, one thing I don't want you to do is push against these and lift your shoulders, okay? Don't. Let your elbow bend to keep your shoulders down. It's real important to keep our shoulders down. One more. Okay, so we're in this place. Let's do a rotation again. So we're going to take the right hand to, here's your left knee, right? That beautiful knee that you're never going to touch. You're going to go below it or above it. Let's go below it, okay? Because you never want to pull on the patella. So let's put our hand on the upper part of your tibia. Twisting, and take this hand behind you. Let it drop. Open your rib cage. Feel how you're exposed here. You want your chest to be lifted. Even your head is up. And release out of that. So let's try the other side. So hand is below. Keep the hand behind. And you just literally lift the rib cage. Twist. It's a nice twist. And let's try again each side. Each time you get your hand farther and farther behind you, you're taking a twist deeper and deeper. One more. And it's a good time for you to assess your own body to see how your movement is. That's a really good thing. All righty. Now, let's go on to our knees. So we're on all fours. Keep your ball close by because I might be in the mood to use it. So as you know, in the past, I love feet. Feet are like my favorite place to be because our feet are what ground us, but it also is what gets us going. And keep your feet, your ankles constantly flexed and stimulated is real important. So let's tuck the toe and flatten the foot. So see how my foot goes flat. Now, if you find that you get here and you can't flatten it, don't worry about it. Just go to the deepest place that you can go to. Now, while I'm in this all four position, you have to be mindful to pull your abdominals up towards your back. So you're pulling up here. Your neck is long. You're not dropping here in a cow position. You're keeping yourself, or cat. No, I guess it's cow, right? You're keeping your back nice and flat because you're pulling up those abdominals. Okay. So staying there, we're going to move our hands forward one size. So my hands are right under my shoulders. I'm going to move them up one size. So they're more forward, right? Now I'm going to pull my tailbone under. I'm going to lift the middle part of my back. And if I can push myself back into a child's pose, I'm going for it. Come out of it. And hold yourself lifted. Come up again, curve the spine. Come back. So you're bringing your butt real close to your heels. But each time you do it, you're still moving that spine. So you're lifting up first. You're pushing the tailbone back. It's tucked under. You feel the extensions behind your back of your arms. And then you're coming to a flat back. One more. What up? When you're in this extended position with your arms, you can really feel the back of the arm right through here, extended. Your serratus anterior. It's a great place to stretch. Helps shoulder and back. Okay, now we're going to travel to the mat. So we're going to be flat. Okay, I think I'm going to have to turn myself around here because I'm on my reformer and my shoulder girdles or shoulder blocks are blocking me. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take your ball that you have. If you don't have the ball, remember we're using a block or we're using a towel. The block might be a little bit uncomfortable for this. It's entirely up to you. We're going to see how it works. So I'm taking this ball. And for people with, if you've gone through any kind of, if you're a current recovery for breast cancer or any kind of abdominal work, of course, you're not going to do this. You need to really watch that space for right now. You can do the same thing we're doing without falling it. So I'm going to place the ball right under my chest, and it doesn't even come to where my belly button is yet. It's right there at the ribs. Okay. So why am I doing this? Well, number one, it gives me the ability to have a really good extension. I'm keeping my hips down, my legs are long, my shoulders are pulled back, my scapula is pulled back, and I'm extending, but I'm not looking up, because then what happens to my neck? I'm crinking it. You don't need to do that. Keep a straight neck. So always lead from here, not from the head. Okay, feel that length. Now, take my hands down. I'm pushing up and I'm releasing. Pushing up. So like I said, if this is uncomfortable with the ball there, do not have to keep it there. One thing you need to be reminded of is when you come up in this extended position, you're pulling your abdominals in very tight, because if you feel any compression on your lower back, then you're not in proper alignment. Feel extension through your hip flexors. Oh my goodness, I can feel it from my psoas. Feels so good. And lift up. And back to the elbow. Good. All right. Ball comes out. So now we're going to take ourselves into a flat position. So drawing your chest down, you want, first of all, your arms to be long beside you. If you feel that you need to put something here to protect your head, you don't want to put your head all the way down, then you can use a small block or your ball. You can actually put something here to keep your head in alignment with your spine. But I'm going to just kind of wing it, keep my head floating. My arms are long. I'm not going to interfere with, I'm going to keep lifting my legs, and I'm not going to interfere with my upper body. So the first thing is left leg lift, release, right, release, left, right. So we call this a prone hip extension. You're in a prone position. You're lifting your hip flexors. You have to engage hamstrings here. There's no doubt about that. But notice that I'm keeping my leg nice and strong. I'm actually contracting those muscles as I lift. It's a good thing. Don't let any lower lumbar pressure. Pull your belly tight. All right, release it. Now I'm going to bring my legs together, and I'm going to place my hands right on my top of my tushy. If you want to bring them higher up because you have a shoulder issue and you don't want your shoulders to be impeded, sometimes that can happen, you can bring your arms up a little bit. It's up to you. Keep your shoulders plugged, head's floating. So now we're going to lift both legs and upper body and release. Okay, let's review this. Real important. Pull your belly button in real tight. Then draw your shoulders down. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lift and then release. Lift, release. Lift, release. Lift, release. One more. And release it. Very good. All right, let's bring our hands beside us. Okay. We're going to let the hands drop to the mat here. So you're going to come down, but you're not going to do this. You're not going to go, whoop. See how I let my shoulders release and roll forward? Not good for the neck. You got to stay plugged, even if your hands are down there. Okay. So you're in this position. We're going to lift both legs, but in order to do that, you got to pull the belly button in. Keep that belly tight. Even though you're flat on the mat, you just got to keep that belly tight because you want no compression here in your lower back. Okay. So we're going to lift legs. Then we're going to sweep the arms. And then we're going to come back. This is all extension work. Spinal extension. So important. Why? Because we sit too much. One more. Very good. All right, let's bring those elbows in. So I have mine really tucked tight, close to me. I'm going to drop my hands, okay? So I'm really tight here. I'm going to push off my hands and lift a little bit. So I have an extension going on here, but it's very controlled. It's more conservative. It's not, I'm not opening my chest wall, and I'm still staying plugged in my scapula. My head's floating. I'm going to bring it down. And again, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Great. All righty, now let's open our legs wide.
Sheila, letting you know it's 11:15, okay?
Thank you, Allison. So I want you to make sure that when your legs are open, when we go to bend here, okay, the whole point, let's do one side at a time. So my arms, I'm going to move my hands down. I'm going to still be rounding with the one side, my hand still flat to the mat. As I bend my left leg, if I can't reach back to my foot or my leg, then you can either put a towel around to hold, or I will say, don't be forcing, okay? Don't be grabbing like that. If you can't reach it, don't go for it, okay? Your body's telling you something, okay? So your leg is in here, hand is around somewhere close by. So we're holding. Then we release it. To the other side, and release it. So can you feel how your quadriceps slides on the mat and it actually opens up your hip flexor? This is a really good way of releasing through here. Now there's all kinds of movements with this work. Well, actually we can keep our hands on both the ankles and we can lift in an extension where we come up, we look like we're a little turtle. We fly up. We're not going to do that. You don't need to. It's a lot of pressure on our ribs. Want to, though, you always have that option. So bring the right up, the left up, so we're here in that position that I was just talking about. You're going to hold this, okay? And as you hold it, take deep breaths. And each time, you're not pulling your heels in towards you. You're just holding it because you're already doing the stretching. You can feel it. Inhale and exhale. Very good. Release the legs down, take the feet together, and we're going to lift ourselves all the way up. Let's go on all fours again. Let's try to move out of the tightness that we might feel in our upper shoulders and back. So while we're here, let's do some neck work. So we're going to tuck the tailbone under. Okay, it's all the way under. Hard to do because we're not used to expanding here. Okay, release your chin. Let your head just drop. And lift it up. Let your head drop. Back up. One more. Release it up. Good. All right. So I'm going to turn around and sit on the corner of the side of my reformer here. You can sit on your mat any way you want. You can either hear me or we're going to do some neck stretching, okay? So some of the good anatomy on your neck space to help familiarize you with why we stress out and we hold different things. We have scalene here in the front of the body that connects to the clavicle, and they're teeny tiny little muscles, okay? So it gives us that very svelte looking neck. Then we have this, these are scalenes, these are your levators. So they connect up here in the lower part. They help keep that head lifted, okay? they're a thicker muscle, and they come down and they hook into many different muscles in that back and shoulder space, okay? It's real important to know, thicker, thinner. Why is that important to know? Well, if you are stretching and you overstretch here, you're going to feel it. Overstretching here, we do it all the time. How about it? How many times you go, oh, my neck? We overstretch our neck a lot, or we don't stretch it enough. So today, take your right ear to your right shoulder. Keep your eyes open too. Inhale and to the left. Inhale, exhale. So notice I'm not bringing my shoulder to my ear. I'm bringing my ear to the shoulder. A lot of times I have a tendency to rotate my neck. I don't know why I go into that, but it must be, I guess, maybe I have some scar tissue there and it's tough to get around. I don't know. I try to think about this when I bring my ear to my shoulder. All right. So now we're going to take the chin to the chest. Back is straight. We're going to roll to the inside of the right. So I have my chin like right there on my shoulder. Okay. I can see what's going on there. I'll take my right hand and putting it to the base of my skull right here. I'm going to take a little bit of a tug and release. I don't like to use 4-letter words, so I'll use 3. Tug, lift up, and release, and bring your head center. So let's look to the other side. Chin goes towards, you can see, left shoulder. Arm up. Same thing. So you get to assess how tight you are, side to side. Sit, come center. Okay, so if we had weights, this is the portion of our workout that we try to throw some weights in. So if you could get your weights, that would be great. If you don't have weights, you can always just use the air, which is what I'm using today because I don't have any weights around. So you're going to be in a standing position. I'm going to go over here. When you're ready, all right, so we have our weights in our hands. A great way to assess the weights that you need to be carrying, think of it this way. If you have done 10 reps with that weight you're using and it doesn't fatigue you fatigue you at number 8, 9, and 10, then you need to move up, okay? That's a good way to assess yourself. So shoulders are back and down. Legs are about hip width apart, okay? Your arms are extended, so you have weights in each hand, free weights. We're going to curl up and take it down. Basic curl. So let's look at the rest of our body. Belly's in, back's tucked, knees are soft. You're always keeping your body real firm. Another thing you can do is you can go sit down on a bench. I could be seated and do all my weight works in a seated position. Especially, I use that for people who are in different recoveries, like knee recovery and things like that. One more. Okay, stay in that position. Let's take that curl up again, and then let's rotate and press overhead. Bring it back down and rotate. So see how you're going through a rotation here. You're coming up, you're rotating through. Up you go. Down and rotate back. Rotation of the shoulder is really the only place in our body that has that full circumduction. You can take it all the way through. Unless, of course, you dance for the Pennsylvania Ballet, in which case you would probably have the same thing in your leg and there. Keep going. And I don't know about you, but there's always, everyone wanted to be a ballerina, right? And release it down. Good. Okay. So let's do some frontal lifts. Knees are soft again because we're never keeping weight. We're never pushing our legs out and hyperextending our lower back. So release. Now we're going to take frontal lift. And let's take a lateral lift. A frontal lift with the left and a lateral lift. Go back to the right side. Left. Going, keep going. Left side to this left side. Good. All righty. Now release. So you're fatiguing there, but we're going to go a little farther. So we're going to take both arms. We're going to do lateral lifts with both arms. So inhale. Now see where we stop? We're below the shoulder. You're not going up here. You're taking it down. Think about it. If you go up here, you can feel that scapula slide. You're not supposed to go into the deltoid. I'm going too high. I'm feeling it in my neck. That's not what I want to do. And I know that sometimes we get carried away. This is a fun exercise, especially open up the chest wall. And release it. So let's take frontal. You got to keep that back nice and strong here, because think of this weight. It's so far away from you. You want to make sure you don't pull your body forward. Okay, so keep your knees bent. And if I had, say, 5 pounds, you got to remember that away from the body, you trickle that. Body sends signals to support us. That's why it's such an intelligent thing. So take it down now, shoulders rolling back. Let's try that again. You have your weights in your hand. Shoulders rolling back. Good. So that gives us an idea of how we should be lifting and dropping back, keeping our chest wall tall, pulling our belly in, tucking our tailbone under, and softening our knees. That's the way you want to stand. It takes the least amount of stress on your skeleton. Okay, so we're going to take both hands together with those weights. Bring them up. Careful, careful. Bring them overhead. So we're going to take the weight. You're going to let it drop back behind you, and you're going to lift the arms straight up. Back behind you, straight up. So if you find that your head is going forward like this when you bring your arms back, then don't bring the arms down so far, okay? Remember to pull in your tummy. Remember to keep your belly, your back tucked. It's all about your posture, keep you protected. One more. And release. So I'm here. I'm going to draw my elbows down if I have weights in my hands, okay? So you never want to go up and over, because then you could hurt the shoulder girl, okay? Let's roll out our shoulders. Keep rolling it out. All right, last but not least, let's do a forward flexion. Why? Well, why not? Okay. Forward flexion is a nice way to end things. So you are going to be standing. Your feet are about hip width apart. We're going to bring the shoulders back and down. Now, as we forward fold, we're pulling in through the belly and we're tailbone tucked under. Your knees should be soft if they're slightly bent. Your arms should always hold onto your body. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Let your fingers touch. If you can touch the floor, okay. But hold on to something. If you're not near the floor, hold on to your legs. Now, softly roll yourself up. Feel that? Isn't that great in your back? Just so good in your back. Shoulders back. All righty, ladies and gents. We did it again. Thank you for coming.